Sponsored by Black Magic Design, the world's highest quality products for the feature film, post and broadcast industries. blackmagicdesign.com. And by JMR Rentals, jmrny.com.
Blackout. So the director, Larry Fessenden. So this is his take on a werewolf movie. What I find interesting about most horror films is that it takes some of those tropes, the horror tropes and the monsters, and they have some sort of allegorical meaning to them. So this one with Blackout, it has a lot of things going on, a lot of things on its mind. So it's a film about class struggles, demons within personal demons within people, alcoholism, I guess you could say, because that is a theme in the film itself as well. I don't think it necessarily tackles all its themes flawlessly. It's a little clumsy in that regard, but I do think where it really excels is in the main character, Charlie, who's played by Alex Hurt. So basically, he's a local painter, and he also, during the full moon, he turns into a werewolf. But I don't think that the werewolf concept is the main focus, because this character is really, he's complex. He has a lot of things going on. He has an alcohol addiction problem. He has a ton of different things going on in his mind. And it's just him trying to come to terms with the physical beast of the werewolf, as well as the battling of his own complex mind and his sort of fears and alcoholism. And I thought that was where the film really excelled. That's where the film is at its strongest. And that's where, gladly, most of the film's attention is on him and his story. All the other things about class struggle, while clumsy, it's still fairly entertaining. Very gruesome. There's a lot of solid gore and blood effects. And I just thought the performance itself was the glue that held this whole thing together.
With a werewolf story, you always got to talk about the creature, because you've seen greatness, like you've seen American Werewolf in London.
That's what came to mind.
Yeah, and then you see ones where they look like bears. Give me like a scale of 1 to 10. Rate the creature for me.
Oh man, I gotta say it's actually a solid 8. So the film, to me, it feels like it does feel small budget, but I do think that the costume design for the werewolf itself is actually really well done. It's scary. It looks real. It's solid. And I like the way, so I know this director, he did another film called Depraved, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm really curious to see it, because he takes the Frankenstein monster and he modernizes it in Brooklyn, basically. So my interest in this film as well, because he takes that concept of the werewolf and puts it in a modern setting and sets it in modern themes and stuff like that. So it's a great modern take on the werewolf story.
And are we talking CGI werewolf, or
no?
Like
it's
dude in
literally
a suit
practical effects. Yeah, in a suit. It looks phenomenal. It's a pretty strong recommendation for me based on that alone. You don't see the werewolf often. It's much more of a character drama, so it's focused on Alex's character in human form. But when the werewolf does come out, it's actually pretty terrifying, and it looks great.
I actually just saw someone talk about the werewolf movie that Benicio del Toro was in about 10 years ago, and that sort of being like an underrated movie. And lots of people have attempted it. Most of them fail. And then when you see like bad CGI werewolf, it's just, like the acting can be top notch, and that just ruins the film. But I think people are getting back to the guy in a suit type of thing.
It just looks better.
Yeah, I remember we saw Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah.
And, there was some good suit stuff going on there, good makeup, and I'm sure there was CGI in there as well. But that creature design really sold it for me.
But that's where I like when you mix practical with CGI, because I think both can work together. You just have to, it's like meet me halfway, basically. I don't think one works without the other. I mean, some good costume can work without CGI, but with CGI, it only enhances the realism, I guess. It makes it more believable.